Hi, my name is Ken Bonfield, and what follows are some thoughts that I have about my new double O guitar from Beau Hannam. The Reader's Digest version it's fucking amazing. Absolutely amazing.
So all the footage in this video was originally going to be a part of the sound sample for this guitar 106, but because Ken Bonfield's been playing fingerstyle guitar for 50 years, he talks about the guitar in a way that I can't and just don't think like that. So I thought it was just going to be a really interesting video as a standalone. So here it is with a couple of performances in different tunings. Ken Bonfield.
As of Friday, which is the week of August 18th, I will have had this guitar for 90 days. This guitar was great out of the box, even with the old strings that had been on here. I played the guitar right out of the box and I was going, oh my God. And then the next day I do what I always do. And then I put new strings on the guitar. And it was a revelation. It was absolutely a revelation. I have never, ever been happier with a new guitar, ever. Not on the first day, not on the 30th day, not on the 90th day. It's just not something that happens for me. Generally speaking, I have to have an instrument for about 6 months before it's something that I feel really, really comfortable with, as well as something that can work, that I find music in. And with this guitar, I started writing a new tune almost immediately. Because this instrument just makes me want to pick it up. The longish story about how this guitar came to be is that in 2017, I had to stop playing steel string guitar because I had ruined my right-hand thumb from playing the harp guitar. That stretch, I was playing it a lot. I'm old. I just turned 70. And it destroyed my right-hand thumb, and I could not play steel string guitar. So from December of 17 until September of 23, I played 2 weeks of steel string guitar. In the middle of 18, July and August of 18, I recorded an album with Raymond Gonzalez. And man, after that 2 weeks, I knew I couldn't play. I didn't play it all the rest of the year. Someone suggested I get a nylon string guitar because of the reduced tension. I borrowed one and went, oh yeah, cool, I can play. I really wish I hadn't done that, honestly. I wish I'd just taken another year, or if I had to, another 2 years off for my thumb to heal up. Because I am not suited for the nylon string guitar. I am a steel string guitarist. I have tremendous envy for Vin Downs, who's one of my favorite guitarists, who can go back between nylon string and steel string, and he sounds fabulous on both. I do not. The other thing is that I have raging ADHD. And when I sit down with this guitar to rehearse later today, in a 45-minute to an hour session, I will be using probably a minimum of 5 tunings. I'll go from DADGAD to DIGGADY-GAD to SIGGADY-GAD to C-sus tuning, maybe a drop C tuning, CGD, GBE. You cannot do that on a nylon string guitar. It's just not possible. But what I learned from the nylon string guitar is that small bodies can be powerful guitars. This is actually a little bit smaller than a nylon string guitar. The lower bout is almost exactly the same as you would find on most standard nylon string guitars. But the upper bout is actually quite a bit smaller. But with this 12 fret to the body design, listen to that D. it's there. It's solid. That's a C. That's pretty glorious. I also love these tuners. These are Rickard banjo tuners. They're a 10-to-1 ratio, which for a lot of steel string players, they would think that's too low of a ratio, that you're not going to be able to dial in tuning. But what I have discovered is that these are so smooth that as you learn them, it is very easy to dial in. It is not hard at all. The guitar itself is extremely stable. Beau, I believe, has ebony strips on the inside of the neck, and that helps to stabilize it for all the tunings that I do. But just the instrument itself, the steel strings, they're way more stable. They don't react the same way that nylon strings do when you're trying to change tunings on the fly.
Like and subscribe. Leave a comment, all that sort of thing, if you want to. Hope you do. Back to the video.
What I love most about this guitar is probably the trebles. And it's what you can see in here, that I have a K&K microphone in here. And that was put on after I got the guitar from Beau, because when I would plug in, I would get a lovely sound. I would plug this using my Pure Mini into an amplifier. It was a lovely sound. But what I wasn't getting were those beautiful, honey, leave it alone, those beautiful trebles, these sparkly but thick, those harmonics are extraordinary. I'm not working hard to get them. They fly out of it. But they're also not, there's nothing brutal about the trebles. And I think that is a combination of the short scale design. That is just something that we associate with short scales, is just a little bit thicker trebles. It's why some people like Les Pauls and some people like Fender, T-style or S-style guitars, short scale, long scale. I will probably never, I can't imagine purchasing a standard scale guitar, not for me. You can work a string in ways that you can't on a standard scale instrument. These instruments sound great with light gauge strings, which at my advanced age and with my injury issues, that's important. I use a 12.5, a 16, a 24, a 32, a 42, and a 54. And I can use all of my tunings from as low as CGD, GAD, what I call DADGAD, and all the way up to standard tuning, which I visit occasionally. I don't live there. When I put this guitar away, it's usually either in DADGAD, Open G, or Double Drop D. Beau set this instrument up in DADGAD, which I find, here's a trick. If you use a lot of alternate tunings, pick one that's kind of in the middle tension-wise. DADGAD is in the middle for me. And what I've discovered is that the intonation holds together better than if I were to have the intonation and the setup done in standard tuning. Part of that is because strings are a little bit more efficient the tighter they go. So going from DADGAD to drop D, I'm not going to lose any intonation. I'm not going to have any intonation problems on the E and the B string. I've also found that if it's set up for DADGAD, that I can go to siggity-gad without worrying about buzzes, fretting out, anything like that. The quality of wood that Beau works with, that craft luthiers work with, is just such a beautiful thing, because they actually get to take this one set of wood and do what is best for it. They're not building to a factory spec. They're building to what the wood that they have right in front of them is capable of doing. And I mean, thank you, Bob Taylor, for buying all of the legal supply of ebony, because do you know what? It's only been the last 15 or so years where you have seen what we call white ebony. This is what you would consider, this is the ebony that most people are used to. This is this black ebony, solid black. But look at this beautiful fingerboard, which, by the way, he does a lovely job of continuing into the headstock. To me, this is a much more interesting fingerboard and a look because of the white striped ebony versus the solid black. Don't get me wrong, I love solid black ebony. But did you know that solid black ebony only occurs in 20% of the ebony trees? And for hundreds of years, the other 80% was just kind of left in a field to rot. Not anymore. Thank you, Bob. That was very cool. I think what I want to say is that this is a guitar for me that continues to surprise me, that continues to get me to ask the question, I wonder what would happen if. It's got me looking at some different tunings. Because it handles the low register so well, one of my next tunings that my dear friend Joe Ebel turned me on to is B, F sharp, D, E, A, C sharp. So you have a B minor triad here, and you have an A major triad here. This guitar has been able to do every tuning I throw at it because it has so much of that detail. So much detail. Thanks, Beau. Cheers.